What up? Welcome back to all you IDP savages. We got an IDP waiver wire video, and I got a handful of guys to talk about here. We are breaking down the linebacker position first. And the guy who we got to talk about first came out of nowhere like an RKO. This dude in redraft leagues, he's rostered in like 4% of leagues. And it's probably people who picked him up last minute because Devin White was going to go out. But Zach Bond with 42 points, man, 11 solo tackles. You look at his career numbers, and like his most career solo tackles in one single season was 18. He got 11 in this game. So just really insane. Really insane. So he's going to be someone you should pick up on waivers with some of the IDP guys. Like, you might not even need to put in waiver claims. You just got to be smart about it, depending on your league, depending on how many people you roster. But Zach Bond, I'd go pick him up because I think he's going to take Nakobe Dean's job even after Devin White comes back. The way that he looked, and he was the one who got 100% of snaps. Nakobe Dean didn't play 100% of snaps. He played mid-90s. So Zach Bond, oh yeah, go prioritize him if you need someone at the linebacker position. Second guy to talk about, Eric Kendricks. I can't even believe that I can put this guy on the video because in redraft, he's rostered in about 8% of leagues. So I try to talk about guys who are rostered in 20% or of leagues or less, because I know that's not every single IDP league plays more than just a couple players. So that's why I like to talk about a little bit of deeper guys. So you guys, if you have IDP questions, you should definitely join my Patreon. It's our private social media channel. It's 420crew.com. You should definitely join over there if you have any kind of IDP questions, because there's nobody on YouTube who's breaking down IDP like me, and there's not too many people out there playing as many IDP leagues as I play in as well. So I'll be your IDP guru. So make sure you go follow everywhere. But yeah, Eric Kendricks, man, he's doing what he does. 2 sacks. He had 6 solo tackles. He had an interception. He's a jack of all trades, man. Literally a Swiss Army knife on the IDP linebacker position. So if he's somehow available in your league, go pick him up.
Pick him up!
Because he's someone that I said that you should have been drafting. Now, I know a lot of you guys play on ESPN and Yahoo and all that. And this next guy, Darrell Taylor, he's a linebacker on those platforms, only a linebacker. In Sleeper, though, you can pick this dude up and plug him in at the DL spot. And 0% rostered. I mean, you talk about coming out of nowhere like an RKO. This dude came out of nowhere like an RKO. He played a bunch of snaps, and I feel like after the performance that he had this past week, it's only going to go up as well. You mix in 7 solo tackles and 2 sacks, they're going to figure out a way to keep you on the field. And so I think Darrell Taylor, he's only going to keep going up and up, and someone who's not rostered in a lot of leagues at all. And if you're on Sleeper, you can play him as a DL, and that's what you want to do. And that's why I like playing on Sleeper. Now, this next guy, similar to Darrell Taylor, because if you play on ESPN, on Yahoo, and all that, you can only lock in Andrew Van Ginkel as a linebacker. And I do say, pick him up.
Pick him up!
But if you play on Sleeper, you can actually pick him up and play him as a DL. And oh, yeah, man, the value. Got 29 points this past week. He had the big sack. He had the touchdown. He had an INT. He was doing a little bit of it all. Not crazy amount of tackles, but he still mixed in 2 solo and 2 assisted tackles. But yeah, mixed in with all the turnovers and everything, man. The Van Ginks, he was killing it. So go out there and pick him up.
Pick him up!
Now, this guy's an honorable mention. He's 32% rostered in Yahoo leagues and redraft leagues. But just in case, I got to bring up Alex Anzalone.
Get in the zone!
AKA the anal zone. If he's available in your leagues, go pick him up. This guy is a tackling machine, a tackling fool with the tackling fuel.
Tackling fuel.
So if somehow he's available, go pick him up. Another linebacker that you want to get on your radar, DeMarvion Overshown. So 2nd year in the NFL. He got hurt last year, so he didn't really play at all. I don't even think he played 1 snap last year. And boy, did he hit the ground running, though. 5 solos, 6 assisted, and he had a sack as well. There's not too many key defensive players for the Cowboys in the linebacker spots. It's like Eric Kendricks, and that's it. And Demario Overshown also playing the inside linebacker over there. So he might be someone to keep on your radar and go pick him up.
Pick him up!
Another linebacker that you need to go pick up. He led the Arizona Cardinals in solo tackles this past week. He had 8 of them. He was on the field a lot. He was making a lot of tackles, and that's really all you want out of these IDP players. I'm just going to put guys on your radar who aren't really rostered in a lot of leagues. This guy's only rostered in 6% of redraft leagues. Mac Wilson for the Arizona Cardinals. So if you have a weak spot in as one of your linebackers, go pick him up.
Pick him up!
I got 2 more linebackers for you. Here goes Joanna Man Bentley on the New England Patriots, pretty much playing the entire game, 7 solo tackles, 5 assisted, and had a half a sack. Teams are going to be grinding, trying to keep the ball away from the Patriots and running on them because that's one of their weak spots. They have a way better secondary than they do like front 7 like right now, I feel. And Joanna Man Bentley is the beneficiary of that. Lots of running back tackles. He's only rostered in 3% of redraft leagues, so go pick him up.
Pick him up!
Last guy to mention here, I can't believe that Quay Walker is only rostered in 18% of leagues on Yahoo. So if he's available, go pick him up.
Pick him up!
He's a tackling machine, 7 solo tackles this past week, 4 assisted tackles. And I know that there may be some people out there who like you play in, I don't know, leagues with 15 IDP players or whatever. If you do, you need to be joining our community so you can get more of a breakdown anyways, because I'm trying to highlight people just for the whole IDP community in general. And I always try to highlight at least 1 or 2 players that are like rostered in 3% or less of leagues. So make sure you go join the community. If you need way deeper insight than this, go join the community at 420crew.com. And that's the end of it for the linebackers. We're going to jump into the DL next. Let's go. Jumping over to the defensive lineman position, and the top point getter on the week for defensive lineman, Greg Rousseau, 41 total points. He had 6 solo tackles and had 3 sacks and a forced fumble. Man, if he's available in your league, you know what to do.
Pick him up!
Go do it. Go do it. Showing out. What a game. What a game. Monster start he's got going up against Miami and then Jacksonville. So they have a little Florida tour that they're going on here. But Greg Rousseau, we've been waiting for this. We've been waiting for him to do this. And let's see if he continues this tear going into year 4. He's only rostered in 10% of redraft leagues. I know if you play in a deeper IDP league, he's probably not available. But if you play in a more shallow IDP league and you have a defensive line spot,
pick him up!
DeMarcus Lawrence. Oh, man. I think because of the lack of good defensive players that they have over there in the front 7, he showed out a little bit. Cleveland, not that good, though. So I don't know if we're going to be able to expect him to go throw down 2 sacks every single game. He did get 4 solos. He had 3 tackle for loss. He's only 5% rostered. So if you really need some help at a D-line spot,
pick him up!
But I would be weary because the Browns, they just look like hot garbage, like all around. So that could be one of the reasons why he was able to get to the QB so easy and get those 2 sacks as well. Now, how about a low rostered, almost a no rostered IDP DL here in Keon White for the New England Patriots? Second year, he got a bunch of snaps, played 41 total snaps, pretty much the whole game, and he had 2 sacks. 2.5 sacks, 2.5 sacks, had 3 solos. And man, you just never know how New England's going to scheme. And kid coming out of Georgia Tech a year ago, really didn't do too much last year and starting off with a bang. So if you play in a deeper IDP league and you got multiple DL spots, maybe a dynasty, he's not too rostered in a lot of these dynasties either, go pick him up.
Pick him up!
It pains me to have to mention Trayvon Walker right now, but he had 2 sacks on Tua. He had 6 total tackles, 2 solos, 4 assisted, and he played a bunch of snaps. I don't know. They got Cleveland this next week, so it's in. We saw what DeMarcus Lawrence did against them, and I know Josh Hines-Allen on the other side, like he's like a beast as well, and that's one of the reasons why Trayvon Walker will never get will never be like the number 1 look for an offensive line. So going up against Cleveland next week, pains me to say it,
Pick him up.
Mixing in a very deep D lineman here. This is more of a dynasty pickup. Poona Ford. He had the most snaps out of any of the defensive tackles for the Chargers. He only had 3 tackles. He mixed in an INT, but if he ends up getting the most snaps over there and Joey Bosa's like healthy, things like that, like maybe he ends up being a little bit more of a thing. This is a super deep DL ad is Poona Ford, more of a dynasty guy. Here's another deep defensive lineman for you. And he played about 66% of the snaps for D end for the Colts this week. I think did a little better than Kwity Paye, but Tyquan Lewis is who I'm talking about here. And he had 4 solos and 2 assisted, and he mixed in a sack as well. They have a lot of guys who can get after the quarterback. And I just think with the amount of snaps that he played, if you're like desperate for a DL, whether it's dynasty, whether it's redraft, Tyquan Lewis, look no further. Look no further. Here is the last defensive lineman that I'm going to throw on my waiver wire video today. And back from the dead a little bit, Zaven Collins, because someone who we weren't like excited about like at all. Like he just hasn't been doing good the last couple years, but now they're going to have him rushing off the edge a little bit more as well. He didn't get to the quarterback or anything like that, but he did have 9 total tackles, 5 of them solo, 4 of them assisted. He ended up with 16 points for the week. So D lineman, it's one of those positions where it's very, very slim as far as like the top heaviness. So if you are desperate for a D lineman, Zaven Collins, go and pick him up against the Rams.
Pick him up.
And now we're going to jump into the DBs. Let's jump over to the DBs, and we're always trying to target a lot of these safeties if we can. And man, this safety killed it. This DB killed it this week. Alontae Taylor, 3 sacks. 3 sacks out of a DB. That's insane. He was the top DB on the week, 5 solo, 1 assisted. And the sacks aren't always going to be there like that. But if a guy can put 5 to 10 solos just on a weekly basis, and I know he's able to do that kind of thing, he's worth picking up for sure.
Pick him up.
All depends on who you have, but I don't think this is a flash in the pan like for him. Maybe the 3 sacks is because not too many players are going to get 3 sacks a game no matter what. Second DB here. Both of these guys that I mentioned off the beginning, barely rostered in leagues. Tony Adams only rostered in 1% of leagues. He's the safety for the Jets, for those goddamn Jets. And dude, 8 solo tackles, 4 assisted, and mixed in a sack. I know they were going up against a heavy run team, and obviously you're going up against a heavy run team. You're going to get more tackles because of that. But Tony Adams, he plays a lot of snaps. I'm pretty sure he played 100% of snaps for them, and that's one of the things that you really need out of your IDP guys, especially your DBs. So Tony Adams.
Pick him up.
This next guy, I'm really surprised. He's rostered in 25% of redraft leagues, Kasan Nixon. But if he's not rostered in the league that you play in, I would go pick him up.
Pick him up.
He's the nickelback for the Green Bay Packers, and he got a whole bunch of tackles, 6 solos and 1 assisted. He also mixed in a sack as well, had a tackle for loss on top of that one, so 2 tackles for loss. Kasan Nixon, man, I was a little hyped on him because of the return yards that he could be getting, and screw those return yards, man. If he's going to get 7 total tackles and a sack almost every game, he's definitely worth picking up.
Pick him up.
Now this guy, Dax Hill, on the Bengals. I was really nervous about him coming into this year because they moved him from safety to corner. It didn't matter though. He still threw down 27 points in week 1. He had 7 solo tackles. He mixed in a sack. I thought that it was going to be Jordan Battle over here, but even Dax Hill playing cornerback, go pick him up.
Pick him up.
He's going to be a great addition to your squad. A lot of tackles going to be coming for Dax Hill. Tyreek Stevenson on the Bears, one of their cornerbacks over there. And I don't like targeting too many cornerbacks, but normally he gets a lot of tackles. He mixed in an INT and a defensive touchdown, but normally he is mixing in a lot of tackles. He only had 2 solos and 2 assisted this game, so it wasn't a good representation of his tackle skills, but 24 points nonetheless. And people are going to throw on Chicago a lot, and normally he's going to be a guy who's getting a bunch of tackles, and even in this case didn't get a bunch of tackles, still threw down an INT and a TD. He's only rostered 9% of leagues on Yahoo. This next DB, I'm really surprised he's not rostered in more leagues than he is. Only 6% rostered on Yahoo redraft leagues, and he killed it. Julian Blackmon for the Colts, 13 total tackles, 10 of them were solos. And oh boy, like, man, Blackmon, he is very, very good. He plays all the snaps over there. And if you need a dope safety, like, this is someone to pick up, because I really feel like that 10 solos that he's getting. They went up against Mixon, and Mixon ran it like 50 times. They ran it 30 times, but it seemed like 50. So that's why he got more tackles. But they're going up against Green Bay, who's going to be running it a bunch. And then they're going up against Chicago the week after that, and Caleb Slim Pickens, and then Pittsburgh after that. So he's got a handful of good games coming up. Julian Blackmon, he is my waiver wire pickup of the week for IDP DBs, because he didn't come out of nowhere. Like, he definitely started coming on last year, but I think there's a lot of people who just have no idea who he is. So I would be picking him up. A lot of tackles are going to be coming from him. And here's one of Blackmon's teammates, Nick Cross. He killed it. 14 total tackles, 8 of them solo, 6 assisted. Also, because he was going up against Joe Mixon. But that exact same schedule that I read out, he has the same schedule as well. So they are going to be going up against heavy run teams. So just someone else to get on your radar and pick up if you need to just get more spots in your DB depth.
Pick them up!
Another one here that you could go pick up and start pretty much anywhere is Harrison Smith. A lot of people forgot about Harrison Smith because of Cam Bynum and because of Josh Metellus, but Harrison Smith's an oldie but a goodie. He still holds it down. 3 receptions, 3 solo tackles, and 4 assisted tackles. Then he also mixed in INT. They play 3 safeties a lot. And look at here, he played 68 total snaps. I'm pretty sure that was very close to 100% of snaps. So yeah, go pick him up.
Pick him up!
He's been amazing for so many years, and he's not slowing down yet. Last guy that I'm mentioning and getting on your radar here, a rook, Javon Bullard. Man, this kid killed it. And I don't know if you guys saw, but he laid the wood, a real big hit on AJ Brown during the game, and the announcers were all highlighting shit and talking about it. He killed it in his opening debut. 7 solos, 4 assisted. He played all the snaps. This was the rookie who I was super, super excited about, because he was coming into a starting role over there, and he killed the game in week 1. And I think you got to go pick him up.
Pick him up!
Make sure you don't sleep on him. Get him on your bench. And if it's your first time here, hit that subscribe button, because I'm one of the only YouTube channels bringing you the IDP heat week after week after week after week. Make sure you hit the like button. I got all the waiver wire videos for offensive positions as well. For you guys who play in team defense, I got that video for you as well. Go check it out. Go follow. Turn on the notifications. Appreciate you guys. And one of the videos that's coming up right now, click it.